neural systemic kinesiology. Um, so I read you the questions and you give me your answer. What would come into mind when you have questions? So the first question: for what reason do you have been interested in kinesiology?
Or how I got interested in kinesiology?
Yeah.
Okay. It started when before I got into kinesiology, I was living in India for 3 years.
Yeah.
And just living in ashrams, studying Eastern philosophy with Indian or Hindu people, and also with Tibetan, in Tibetan monasteries and stuff in Nepal. And when I was in an ashram, a person came into my room towards the end of the time I was in India, and he was a chiropractor doing some applied kinesiology. And so I used to watch him test muscles and go like this with the finger modes, and he had a bag of flower essences, and I used to watch him, and he did a little bit on me, you know. I wasn't actually that interested in it. Then when I was travelling up in the north of India just before I came home, it's like this inspiration or this voice came into my head, or just this, you know, knowingness came into me as like, do kinesiology. And so I just thought, because I was about to go back to Australia, I thought, I'm going to do kinesiology.
All right.
That's how I got interested in it. And when I got back, I did a couple of courses and then I met Charles Krebs, and he was involved with a 2-year diploma in a college in Melbourne, Australia. And so I met Charles, and I thought, this is where I'm going to study.
When? 19?
I met him in 95.
Okay.
I got back from India early 95, around March. And I did a few just short courses throughout the year, you know, like Touch for Health and Kinergetics.
Yeah.
And so then I enrolled in the program, and that started in February 1996. And that went for 2 years, and I graduated at the end of 1997.
So, and you remember the name of the chiropractic person who did this first?
Yeah, his name was Michael Powderly. He's from Australia.
Okay.
And interestingly enough, I know him now. He lives in the same town as me.
It's crazy.
And actually his kids go to the same school as mine. And they're the same age.
Yeah.
And actually I knew his wife before they got together. So it was just
Funny synergetic effect.
Yeah, it was fun.
Okay. So what have you done before?
Well, before that I was living in India for 3 years, as I mentioned. Also, before that I had a business in the clothing industry. It was like, but then it sort of was like a boom and bust. It was a big fad for 3 years, and then it just went out of fashion. And when it all collapsed, I just took whatever money I had left over and went to India. So that I did for about 3 or 4 years, and before that I spent some time in South America. Like my father's from Ecuador in South America, and I was studying engineering, civil engineering.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so how long do you work with kinesiological methods? You told this already, but this is my first question.
Okay, well I started with kinesiology in 1995, when I came back from India, Touch for Health, Kinergetics, and then in the college I learned the main influence on me was applied physiology. And I met Richard Utt in that time. And then when I graduated I just started coming up with ideas. One thing led to another, and here I am.
So what especially is it what fascinates you concerning kinesiology?
What fascinates me about kinesiology is that it works. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What fascinates me is that you can have some ideas. You know, anyone can have ideas and say, well, this is going to balance this or that.
Yeah.
But the thing is that when you look at kinesiology and the effect that it has on people's lives, and how deeply you can change the way people live, the benefit that's brought to people all around the world. And for me, I mean, the biggest thrill I get is when I come back somewhere and someone I've taught a technique to comes and tells me, oh, I use this technique on a client and it's completely changed their life. And that, you know, there's no better reward than that for me.
Okay. So 5. How did you develop your very own system, neural system, kinesiology?
Okay. Well, this is an interesting story because when I was a student, you know, I really I was taught all of applied physiology by Charles, or most of it, and you know, just once when he was teaching us the basic agape quest, he showed one technique where you have to find the position, the muscle position, and he said, oh, you know, it's the right position if you touch the reference meridian, and it gives the indicator muscle gives a change. And so immediately I thought, well, why wouldn't you just pause like the reference meridian and then move the muscle and then test where you've got the change, you're in the right position. And it just went out of my head. And at the end of the 2 years, he assessed me and he just for some reason asked me, why, or how do you find position 5 of stomach or something? And so I showed him how I did it. And he said, oh, can you do that again? So I did it again. And he was writing, didn't say a word. And then that was on the Saturday. On the Monday we had class again and he presented it to the class as a major breakthrough in kinesiology. And I was like surprised. And he said, oh, he rang up and told people about it in Europe and it was being taught in Europe that weekend. And I'm like, oh, wow. And I thought, because I had some other ideas, and I thought, well, you think that's good? I've got this idea about the corpus callosum muscle test and a can opener on it, which is an AP technique. And so I actually started writing them down. And so I gave them to Charles, and you know, he liked it. And then I sort of got some colleagues to come over, and I showed them, and I had like a chakra hologram and a brain hologram back then. That's all I had. And which were the first things I did, and people liked it. And then Charles told me I should go, that in next year, this was getting towards the middle of 1998, and I'd only been graduated 6 months, and he said, listen, next year's the general meeting, March 99 in Tucson, where Richard Utt is, and he said, you need to go and present this. And by then, sometime in 1998, Alfred Schatz had rang me because Charles had told Alfred about me, and he was interested, and so we agreed to. He went to this general meeting. So I went there and presented the brain hologram and chakra hologram, and people who had the institutes in Europe were there, like from Bern and from Brussels and Alfred in Kirtzarten, and they all said, come over. So I started coming over, and people kept coming to the courses, and so I kept coming up with new ideas, kept doing it, and people kept coming, and you know, everyone was getting good results with it, and next thing you know, I'd written over 20 courses, and so that's how it happened. It was like nothing I set out to do. Like when I began kinesiology, I had no idea that I would become a developer of a whole system of kinesiology. It's just what happened. And, you know, I'm still doing it.
Yeah. So what scientists and theories did inspire you?
What scientific theories?
Yeah, I mean...
What theories?
If scientists, if not, I don't know, what inspired you?
Well, I have a strong influence from India with my time there. there, so I'm always like Indian or Vedantic theories, especially when working with chakras and energetic bodies. I always draw heavily on that. I also like to look at physiology as well. I think, in the way I work and the people who work in the area I do, we like to have a good knowledge of physiology, and we like to make sure the students understand it well. And so I think that's important. And also I draw heavily, of course, on the Chinese medicine, and the acupressure system is important in kinesiology. And and then I've developed some theories of my own as well, about consciousness and things like that.
Okay. So I'll just check if the camera is okay. Yeah, so looking good. Okay, which are the bases of your system, neural system, kinesiology? The basics.
What do you mean?
Yeah, you told you're working with chakras or the brain, whatever. So
what's the basic principles behind it?
The basic principles.
Well, the basic principle I look at is, I have this thing I call interactive triangle, the treatment triangle. And it's that, with any imbalance there's always an energetic imbalance. Okay, so that's like in the chakra system, the meridians, the auras, the nadis, the figure eights, all these energetic systems, the meridians that we work with. Also, can be a manifestation of this in the anatomy and physiology. This imbalance affects the anatomy and physiology in some way. And also, I work on the principle that you have an energetic balance, a physiological imbalance, but also you have like a psychological imbalance, and that's the mental, emotional, behavioural aspects of any imbalance that goes on with it. So from that, though, especially in the physiology, I suppose in all parts, is the basic thing that we're using. There's two things really. There's the hologram from Richard R. and formatting, which again was developed by Richard R. And so I tend to work a lot with formatting, and a lot of the things I've developed is a lot of formatting. And to me that works, because when you're using formatting, you're using mudras, which is like from the Indian system. Mudra means attitude, which means body position. So it's like when you hold a mudra, it's like you're doing a yoga posture. So when you hold mudras, you affect the nadi and chakra flow, and that's definitely what the Indian philosophy talks about. Also, we use the acupressure system as well, and so we're working with the meridians and the mudras to assess states of stress in different parts of anatomy and physiology, and that's the idea behind formatting. And so Richard started that with his course, Applied Physiology in the Brain, and then he went on to do the hologram. And so what I've done is take this idea of the hologram and formatting, and I actually combine them to do holograms on formats. And so I've developed large systems of formatting in different areas, like in the endocrine system, in the nervous system, like I extended the nervous system formatting. The biochemical, the nutritional, the immune system, are just examples of that. And so that's the basic idea, is that we can look at something and say, there's a problem in the immune system, we do some immune formatting, balance and chakras, and it has a very strong effect on the immune system when you do that.
Okay. So, which is the main difference between your kinesiology system and others?
Well, I invented mine.
Yeah, sure.
I didn't invent the others. Well, I think to compare something, you'd have to know the other systems well. My system is definitely an extension of applied physiology. Richard recognises that, and he mentions it on his website. Applied physiology and the other things that have come from applied physiology, like the LEAP program, like SIPS from Ian Stubbings, and of course my stuff as well. We all have like a solid, there's all an essence of formatting, hologram, physiology that's, it really is a physiology-based system. Comparing that to other systems, I don't know a lot too much. I know when I studied, I studied a little bit of PKP and a little bit of 3-in-1, so I know a little bit about them, but I wouldn't be able to, with authority say what is actually going, what their characteristics are, but I can just say what we do, and that's what we do.
Yeah. Okay, so what application is your system, neural system, kinesiology, especially good for? There are special indications or application?
Well, it's good for. Well, it's good for most things actually. Any kind of behavioural problems, psychology. With the psychology, I really look at the chakra system and the neural emotional pathways. Really does a lot to help explain the behaviour and also do something about it. Release the stress so it can. If there's a problem with the behaviour or some behaviour pattern that you're adopting, that you can actually resolve it and release it. Also have an immune course, which is good for the immune system. It's had good results. I get good feedback from that. Same with the endocrine system. I have a hormone course, and that's good. And we also have immune, endocrine, nervous system, primitive reflexes. I have a course on the primitive reflexes, and that's effective too. It's had good results. So, generally we can work with most things. Nutrition as well, I have a nutrition course.
Yeah.
So generally we're looking at the whole physiological makeup. If there's an immune course problem, well, we've got a precise system to work with that.
Okay. What do you think about the relationship of other methods like bioenergetic, Feldenkrais, chiropractic, osteopathy, Rolfing or others?
Look, those systems all are very strong. They, to me, I don't know much about them. I've seen a bit of Rolfing. I know what kinesiology came from chiropractic. But the thing is, for me, what I notice is that they grow. There's a lot of people around the world performing these therapies. That means people are surviving by teaching it and practicing it, and they can only survive doing that if they're getting results.
That's true.
And so that means they must get results. And I know that, I know from my experience that, someone might have a problem and my system might be perfect for it. But then the next person, it mightn't be, but someone else might have some work that's good for them. So it's really hard. In this kind of work, you can't say, for this precise problem, this is always going to solve it. It doesn't work like that in what we do. I just have respect for other methods and other modalities, because they're methods and modalities that are designed to help people. And after all, in the profession we're in, at the bottom line is we're here to benefit the clients. And as soon as you forget that, you're wrong. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so I just have respect for all other methods, and I travel around the world just doing my thing and living my life, and and good luck to anyone who gets healing from another method. I'm happy for.
Yeah. So 11. How would you describe the effect of kinesiology?
How would I describe the effect of kinesiology? Well, I think it's profound. Because, when you sit back and think and you look at it with a rational mind and say, well, all we're doing is touching a few points, holding a few mudras, balancing a few chakras, and we're completely changing people's lives. You look at that with a rational mind and think, well, that looks a bit weird. But when you consistently, I've been travelling around the world for a number of years now, and I consistently, the people I teach, getting the same results. And, it's really, benefits a lot the clients. I mean, all you can say, it's profound because you're changing people's lives. And if we're changing people's lives and helping them get over their problems, we're making the world a better place. So I think that's fantastic.
Yeah, true. 12. Which part should kinesiology play within psychology therapies?
Where do I see psychology and kinesiology? I think they're made to go together. Psychology and psychotherapy has a place. I'd like to see psychology and kinesiology to come together because they have methods for understanding people's problems. We have methods for speeding up the resolution of these problems. If we could work together, it would be a synergistic effect. Because remember, the psychologists have clients, patients, whatever you want to call them, and we have clients, and we're just trying to help people solve their problems. We're trying to do the same thing. So I think kinesiology and psychology is made to go hand in hand. Whether that happens is another thing. But I've had a few psychologists come through my classes, and I have a few that actually have done a lot of training with me too, and they use it in their work, and they're very happy with the results because they can help their clients get better quicker.
So, which part does 13? Which part again 13? Which part does psychology play within the kinesiology systems?
Well, I think psychology is important. As I mentioned earlier with the triangle, to me, psychology is one of the three things you're looking at, with an imbalance, because with psychology you're looking at the emotions, the mental process and all the behaviour archetypes that people are adopting. And that's important because, when you look at someone and they might be, for instance, going through relationship after relationship, never having a happy relationship. Why do they keep doing the same mistake? Why are they behaving like that? And so it's important to understand that, and it's important for the person to understand, I am doing a repeat pattern. And if they don't realise it, they just keep doing it. And they're not happy, And so I think it's really important. And I think kinesiologists should have a good training in psychological, that psychology should be an important part of the kinesiology training, because you do need to understand about behaviour.
Good. Next question, 40. Is there any anecdotal or funny story you would like to tell us?
Funny story?
Or, a story, a healing story? What would you...
Okay, I'll tell you one. Alright, and this is one that touched me a lot because it was one of my students. And it was during my hormone course, and she had been trying for many, many, many years to get pregnant. And
what was her name?
She's in Switzerland.
Okay. So she was a girl in Switzerland?
Yeah, Swiss woman. And just her name's escaped me for the minute.
It's not important just to know.
She's in Switzerland.
Yeah.
And so anyway, she was in the class, and so we got to the reproductive system, and she said, well, so I asked for someone who's got anything, and so she says, well, I haven't been able to been trying for years. And so I said, okay, it's perfect. So we did the demonstration. It went for a long time. It was very profound balance. and she got pregnant about a week later. And then last time I was in Switzerland, I met the baby, and that was just, you know, just that I met her husband, and you know, just to see the joy on their faces and to meet the little baby, you know, it was.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
It was wonderful because that, you know, and it was special in a way because, you know, she'd done a lot of training with me, so she was very supportive. She liked my work, and haven't seen her for a while because she's a mother now.
She has it.
And she's enjoying her motherhood, and you know, yeah, I think she'll come back to kinesiology.
Yeah, some years, and then she has more time to do it.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So these are the 14 questions. I tell you a little bit about me because I. That because every system has its own story, its own techniques, its own background, and so on. So, because from the psychological view of the thing is that psychology are most of them are left brain guys, and they need facts, you know, scientific facts, you know,
Statistics.
Yeah. and if you do some stuff like that, you know, they will notice what's possible. I mean, I had the chance that I knew kinesiology and study, and I knew that the possibility from this work. So I learned psychology, and I built up my clients, I built up my profession, so I had the chance to combine this stuff, and it was very effective. It is effective the more you know, you know, and if you understand the kinesiology systems, and if you understand muscle tests, it's not a problem to build up new systems, because you can use everything. You can use the brain. You can have ideas to, you know, build up can opener or whatever. You can go in every system and find a kinesiology method. Use the muscle test to find the way how it works. You know, and I understand that. So this is the kinesiology systems is so near on your body and on you. You know it yourself. Kind of in a sense or whatever you take it, so that's a very big potential to find things to heal the people, you know, to give them help. That's what you say, and I think that kinesiology and psychology will come together in the next, I don't know how long it takes. I
hope so.
I will do a step because the book.
You know, there's 2 psychologists in this class.
Yeah, and I'm also. I mean, I do my lessons in 3-in-1. I'm a touch valve instructor. I'm 3-in-1 advanced facilitator, but I learned also NICE. I learned blueprint from introverity. I learned hypertonics, and I'm interested in DNA from Richard and Shantidri. I'm interested in AP. Sure, I'm interested in NMK from Lindemann. Yeah. So I'm also interested in your brain stuff. But I mean, you need time to do all this stuff. So and so I did it step by step. I have to do my clients. I have to do my projects. I want to write this book. I worked for 5 years just to meet the people, to write this down, and that takes time.
Yeah, sure. Great to see the book when it's done.
Yeah, and if it's done, it would be kind of a basic book, for everything, because kinesiology is a new method, and we need some basic books, and so that give me the power to do that, and I'm sure that we'll find a lot of people to give a lot of people a new chance to see the kinesiology with another view, because I want to show the whole information, or a lot of information, not the whole, it's too much, but a lot of information. Want to show the stories of the founders, and want to show the general view of kinesiology. And if you show that, you give the chance to the world to understand, and I'm sure that would work. I'm sure, because I see it on every client. I mean, I make the same experience. I have also a pregnant story like you. I have also a woman who liked to become pregnant, and we worked 4 times, and then she was pregnant. Okay, there's no better result. Yeah? When you have a problem, you solve it, and it's okay.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to talk for years to understand what's happened when you do it like psychology. Yeah? So, I mean, the world is so fast changing. We need fast methods, So, the fast methods and the knowledge, when you put it together, that would be wonderful. And that's that is my spirit,
Yeah, well, I'm with you, mate. So you need anything from me, let me know.
Yeah.
I'm only too happy if you need,
I mean, what I want to do is I will write it down. I hope it works with the digital stuff. I don't know, but I make good experience with the camera, because so you can transcript it from the video. I mean, that takes time, but it's better as I wait 2 years until you have time to answer me these questions by computer. Why?
Better, you've done it right, mate, to come here and ask me the questions.
Because for example, I talked to Bruce Tew, and I tried 3 years to meet him, because he said, I'm tired to run around, I'm in New Orleans, no, New Zealand, and New Zealand is too far from me just for an interview, So I will meet him sometimes, but so if somebody is here, I try to meet him and do an interview. What I like to have is when you have a workshop script from me in German from the brain hologram, because the neurosystems kinesiology, if you have that, would be fine. So that I can read and understand the basics of the systems to write it down.
Well, I think the brain formatting would be the one. It's the basic introductory course.
Yeah, okay.
Brain form. You can ask Alfred for a copy.
Okay.
You can organise it with Alfred.
Okay.
Might want something.
Okay.
Because he's got them.
Okay.
Brain format.
He's always here, or he's gone now?
I don't know if he's here now. You can always email him. He might be out there still.
Yeah, we will see. Okay, so that would be the thing. So I will write this down, and then I send it to you via email. So if you want to add something, maybe
I wouldn't mind a copy of the video, actually.
if you want, because I did the experience, because I filmed 2001 John CDs. He died last month. I don't know if you know. So this videos are documents, So it's kind of.
Well, it's good to have, because I could put it on DVD, and if anyone's interested, I could.
Yeah. That's why I do this, because I mean, this is an old system, because I don't have a new camera at the moment. But you can digitize it, and then I have it on DVD, and then you can take it.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want a copy, sure.
Yeah.
I will give you one. So.